सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात् शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात्। Shrushrushubhihi tatkshanat. The greatness of this Bhagavatam is that Shrushrushubhihi, those who pay attention and listen, do the Shravana attentively, tatkshanat, in that very moment, that seeker will be liberated. That is the intensity, that is the greatness of this Bhagavatam. There are two stories. Of course, the entire 10th canto is an amazing part. Apart from that, there are two stories which are like my ideal stories, ideal characters of this Bhagavatam. One was because we have already seen it. One was Dhruva, and the second one is this Prahlada. Usually, at an age wherein they focus on their childishness, not they focus, but they are in their childishness, you can't expect much out of them. That is the age group which is called Balavat. Bala is like somewhere around 5-6 years old. Now Prahlada and Dhruva were both in that Bala avastha. very tender in age, but very firm in their convictions. So that is a great, beautiful part that we are in right now. So we are trying to understand his father's mindset. So how is he? He was a great scholar. Definitely. Yesterday what we have seen, he definitely was a great scholar and very timely one too. He could speak appropriately in the most appropriate manner. He timed it well. Who is the father of this Prahlada? Hiranyakashipu. Now Hiranyakashipu saw that his nephews, his mother and his sister-in-law, all of them were pained because of Hiranyaksha's sudden demise. He was killed by Narayana in Varaha Avatar. So he comes down to them and with a very loving heart, he tries to uplift their spirits. He says that Atma is Nitya. Nothing can touch, nothing can shake that Atma. What has been killed by this Varaha, Mayavi Varaha, is only the body, but the Atma is always going to be eternal. And then he goes on to give the story of this Suyagnya. And Suyagna's story, Yama comes down because his family and his wives were crying, not ready to burn or do the antyeshti of that particular Raja. So Yama gives the story of the hunter who has put a very beautiful catch. He has sprinkled a lot of grains. The she-bird, it lands into that net, and the he-bird, looking at that she-bird which is caught in that net, starts crying. What will I do without you now? You are caught there, you cannot escape from there. How can I live without you? It is so miserable without you. So the hunter thought that the she-bird is anyway caught in the net and the other one is crying there. Let me first finish this one and then go to the one which is caught in the net. So he kills the he-bird even before the he-bird could realize that it is being killed. So finally Yamaraj ends his thing saying, do not unnecessarily waste your time, because these things you keep forgetting. When somebody passes away, you forget, say in 5-6 months, maybe once a year you remember them, but don't waste unnecessarily your energies. Yes, keep those sweet memories and move forward. Having thus given, then finally it is tied down by Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu says that having thus given this particular knowledge, Yamaha tad upakhyaya, having given this message, antardhanam gataha, he left to his abode. Now these people, they also felt that the message was really relieving and they felt really good, and they did the Suyagnya Anta Karma, which was to be done, which was being postponed. They finished that job. Iti, now Naradji says, we should remember, where did Narada come here? Because this is the whole episode being narrated by Naradji to Yudhishthira. If you forget the link, the total story will get messed up. Because maybe in another episode there will be another set of Narada and Yudhishthira talking about something else, totally different, in the Rajasuya Yaga. So this Yudhishthira, to this Yudhishthira, Naradji says, look at the impact of Hiranyakashipu's message. Diti, who was really weeping, she was really feeling bad, she got so inspired that Putra Shokam Kshanat Tyaktva, having heard this message, immediately left the Putra Shoka and then Tattve Chittam Adharyat. She completely went into solitude and then sat there with this message that Parabrahma Tattva is the supreme and you need to dedicate. She dedicated her life to that Parabrahma Tattva. Now this was the kind of inspiring message that Hiranyakashipu could deliver. So meaning, anybody who can deliver the message does not become great. Of the message which was delivered, how does he end up applying? Not even an iota. Not even an ounce of it is applied in his own life. When there is somebody who he sees that he is they are in trouble, they are in pain, he philosophizes and gives this knowledge. But when he finds that his own mind is restless because of the death of his own brother, he is not able to apply that knowledge to himself. Instead, what does he do? He goes on to a tangent, complete different level of existence. He says, in the 3rd chapter, Naraji continues saying, Hiranyakashipu Rajan Ajeya Jararamaram Atmanam. Now what did he do? Hiranyakashipu who? Hey Rajan. Here Rajan, who is the Raja here? He is Yudhishthira. Naraji is speaking to Yudhishthira. Hey Rajan, Yudhishthira. Hiranyakashipu, he took to this resolved gesture in his life now. What did he do? I am that supreme myself, because that spark of life is nothing but supreme, then that Atma is supreme, so I am that supreme. Presently I don't behave like one, that is a different issue. So I should do lot of tapascharya so that I can become this world's only king. This entire universe should be under my control. So what did he do? Now who was his ideal there? Brahmaji was his ideal. That Brahmaji also had done lot of tapascharya, and then he started creating this entire world, and having created this world, he is the ruler, he is the universe creator. So I should have that kind of power with me. So with that resolve in his mind, he left for Mantharachala Parvat. And there, what did he do? If you look at the kind of tapascharya he started doing, you will be shocked. You should have that kind of a control, that kind of a resolute mind to follow up with this kind of passion. Probably we will think about it for a day or two that I should do lot of sadhana. And then after the weekend or after a couple of days, I will do it day after tomorrow, not today. I will wake up late. But this man is Satape Mandara Dronyam Tapaha Paramadarunam. Paramadarunam. It is so intense, so terrible kind of a tapas he did. What did he do? Have you ever tried to walk on your toes? Literally standing on your toes, like they do in the ballet? It's very difficult. So he stood on his toes, not on his feet, on his toes. And then with both his arms extended to the sky, closed his eyes. Standing like that, he started performing his tapascharya, his sadhana, to invoke the blessings of Brahmaji. So in a few years he started doing this sadhana. So our doubt immediately would be like, Swamiji, did he not have a break in between chai, pani, nasta? Some kind of a snack, some kind of water, refreshment sometimes. You will hear when Brahmaji praises him. He says, only person like you could have performed a sadhana 100 years of the devas. Now the time frame of the human beings and the devas are two different time frames. 100 years of the devas, only a person like you can perform the tapas without even stopping for having water. That is the kind of tapascharya he does. And in these ears, what happens? Jata. His long hair flowing. It is not just long hair, but it is all tangled hair. It is jata. It is a messy hair. And they say that for building a jata, the way they do is they take this is explained in Ramayana. Ramji, when he starts leaving and he finds his hair growing too long, then he says, today we should form the jata. Both the brothers sit down and make the jata. What do? They take the milk of the banyan tree and then apply it on their hair. With the milk of the banyan tree, it does not allow any other kinds of bugs to be inside, but at the same time tied down like a gel. But it is there stuck on your head kind of. So that kind of long jata was flowing from his head. And then, because of his tapas shakti, tejas, there was a lot of warmth or heat being generated into this world. Lot of heat being generated in the world. So much that the entire Mantharachal was shaking. Not just Mantharachal, the entire earth was shaking. And as though there was a lot of smoke which would cover the entire universe. That was the kind of level with which he was doing his intense tapascharya. Now as he was performing his intense tapascharya, sankalpaha duscharam tapaha, when he was doing this duscharam tapa, what was his resolve mind in his head? He said that Brahmaji, this comes in the 8th and the 9th shloka, Srishtva characharamidam tapo yoga samadhina adhyaste sarvadhishnebhyaha parameshthi nijasanam. Parameshthi nijasanam. Wherever Brahmaji has been now after having created this world, that is the position that I want with this tapascharya. He is the one who has the power to create, who has the power to create the rules for this universe, and I will be going to that position so that I can have my own laws. I can have my own rules. Now, how long are you going to work for this? He says, let me see if it takes, I am ready to do this tapascharya not for a few hundred years, for this janma or to the yuga paryanta, I am ready to do this tapascharya, but I need that position. So what was the message that he gave to his sister-in-law, mother and nephew? That this body was anyway temporary and the Atma is the one which is real. Very beautiful message. What did he do? He wants to do the tapascharya so that he is inevitable. He wants the immortality through this body. He wants to be the only king surviving and controlling the entire universe. And he wants this body to be immortal. This is called Asura Niti, or this is called Asura Vedanta. जिसमें न सुर न ताल, इसीलिए असुर. You want to add Besur. The reason is there is a totally different standpoint. One standpoint for the people around and one standpoint for yourself. For the people around, when they are in pain, you come up and say that your pain is anyway temporary, even this will pass away. But when it comes to your own misery, you are not able to handle that misery, and your standpoint totally changes. It is not the Atma now, it is the body that should be permanent. Poor guy, he didn't know that in Kali Yuga there will be anti-aging cream. Keep applying it and you will never be old. Since you will be winning over Jara, old age, Marana will never come. He did that grand tapascharya. And with this kind of a resolved mind. Now people ran, all the devas ran to Brahmaji. Brahmaji, it is time that we have to handle this person now, because his tapasya is shaking the universe. His tejas is spreading so far and wide that it is not easy to curtail him. And remember, what has he resolved in his mind? He wants your position and he needs your blessings for it. So what do we do with this person now? So now Brahmaji said, don't worry about it. He called up, iti vignapito devaihi bhagavan atma bhaur nrupaha parito bhrugadut dakshadhyaihi yayai daityeshwara ashramam. Daityeshwara ashramam. To this Daityas, Hiranyakashipu's ashrama, where he was doing his tapas, he said, Daksha and Bhrugu and other rishis who were sitting there, he called them all and said, let us go to his ashram. And when he went there, what did he see there? Pipilika bhihi. Pipilika is like the ants, have formed a huge nest around him. And they seems to have shaken a little bit of that ant hill that was built on Hiranyakashipu, and they were shocked. All that they could see was bones. There was not a skin, not muscle, everything was gone. But then, the wonders of wonder, he was not dead, he was still alive through those bones, doing still his tapascharya. Now what did Brahmaji do? Brahmaji said, Uttishthotishta bhadrante tapasiddhosi kashyapa. Uttishthotishta. Hey Kashyapa, Kashyapa Nandana, son of Kashyapa, get up now. Varadaha aham anupraptaha. I am really pleased with your tapascharya. And then he took his kamandalu. In Kamandalu there was water, he sprinkled that water on this Hiranyakashipu, and comes out Hiranyakashipu as though he was a youth with a shining body, with all the vitality of his body regained, his mind again joined with his body. He comes out, and as soon as he comes out, he looks at the Akasha in front of him, and there is this Hamsa on which Brahmaji is seated. Sanirikshambare devam hamsavaham avasthitam nanama shirasa bhumau taddarshana mahotsavaha. In the 24th shloka, it says, Niriksha devam, ambare, in the sky, he sees his Ishtadeva Brahmaji. And then Nanama Shirasa, he did his namaskara. And then Utthaya Pranjalihi, with lot of devotion, lot of dedication in his attitude, he bowed down to Brahmaji and then asked. No, not directly asked, but he started praising this Brahmaji. He says, you are the one who, when this whole universe was done in Yogamaya, it was withdrawn. You are the one who started creating this universe. You are the father of this entire universe. You are the cause of this entire universe. On your orders, all these sattva, rajas, tamo gunas, they dance in this universe. And you are untouched by these gunas. Hey Paramapita, why is he called the grandfather? Now, his father, who is his cause, and for him also there is this supreme who is the cause, so he is normally referred to, Brahmaji is normally referred to as the grandfather for this entire universe. So he calls him Paramapita. Hey Paramapita, you are the one who have the entire Panchabhutas in your control. The Panchabhutas also dance according to your wishes. I am really happy to see you that you, the Parabrahman, is there sitting in front of me in this Hamsa Rupa, in Hamsa Vahana. And today, I have my, not that you don't know, but I have my desire finally coming to fulfillment. But anyway, because I need to state it out, let me put it in words. And there goes his huge, big desire. He must have had a lot of lawyers working on it, and to make a plea, a boon which does not have any kind of loopholes. Draft. So he had this entire thing built. So he had this opportunity. He says, Yadi, if you are really pleased by my tapascharya, dasyasya abhimatan varan me varadottama. Hey Varadottama, the one who is able to give these boons, such one, please bless me to do what? Now he starts talking. Now when you look at the vara that he is asking, it seems a perfect vara. Such a beautiful vara that he asks. He says, that which is being built by you, that which is created by you, anybody, human, bird or jantu, whatever be the kind, animate, inanimate, should not be able to kill me. Na antaha bahihi, not inside nor outside. Diva naktam, not day nor night. Anyasmadapi chayudhaihi, with the astra and shastra, they are called the ayudha. Now astra and shastra, there is a little difference. Shastra is always held in the hand and you fight holding them in hand. You never let go of them. Such weapon is called shastra, like khadga, sword. But whereas the astra are like the Brahmastra, Pashupatastra, Agneyastra, are like the arrows or the missiles. They are the astra. With neither the astra nor the shastra should I die. Inside, outside, day, night, astra, shastra. Na bhumau, na ambare, neither on this earth nor in the space. And I should not be killed by na naraihi, na mrugaihi, nor by any animals, nor by human beings. And he says that my death should not happen because of any of your other devotees or other devas who worship you. Such devas also should not be able to kill me. So he has covered quite a bit. Quite efficiently he has covered quite a lot. And he says, nobody should be able to fight me on the battlefield. And I should be ekapatyam cha dehinam. I should be the ruler for this entire universe, the same kind as if I was the Indra. Now Naraji says to Yudhishthira in the 4th chapter now, never ever was anybody asking or ever had asked such a boon to anybody. Because if Hiranyakashipu had asked, give me immortality, probably Brahmaji would have said, that is not possible, try next time, and he would have gone away. Antardhanam gataha, then he would again perform lot of years of tapascharya. So he was prepared. He said, when Brahmaji comes, let me be prepared, let me ask for a detailed vara or a boon which will cover everything, cover my basis. Now Brahma Vacha, Brahmaji says, having heard this vara, now he is looking at Daksha and the other Prajapatis and Bhrigu and other rishis who were accompanying him, who were sitting there. And he said, do you find a loophole there? He had gone with his set of lawyers now. Now this was a big day, memorandum of understanding being signed. So Bhrigu and Daksha feel really happy that he asked such vara. He says, you can give him this vara. Brahmaji says, Tate me durlabha pumsam yan vranishe varan mama tathapi vataranyamga varan yadapi durlabhan. This vara is durlabha. Nobody has ever asked, nobody will ever ask such vara. You have made sure to cover everything. But just because I have seen your tapascharya, and I am really in praise of your tapascharya, that I am yielding to give you this boon. Tathastu satya eta ashishas santu. May my words come true. So said Brahmaji. And then he left for his abode. Now immediately this rejuvenated Hiranyakashipu. What did he do? Savijitya disha sarvaha lokaschatrin mahasuraha devasura manushyendran gandharva garudo ragan. He started waging war against anybody that he could imagine. Devaha, all the devas, Indra, Varuna, Agni, so all these devas, he attacked the Swarga Loka, he gained his control over Swarga. And there were a little bit of, asuras here and there who were jealous of him. He won over them also, asuraha. Manushyaha, the entire Bhuloka was under his control. Gandharva, Garuda, Yaksha, Kinnara, Kimpurusha, every bhuvana in this world was gained by him. He was like the master of this entire universe. And this universe, how was he ruling? Mahamana nirjita loka ekarat. Now he was the swatantra, the most independent person, because he was the only one who could take decisions, who could make decisions, who could make laws, who could change laws. So according to his own conveniences, he changed the entire laws. Now when there is a puja, there is yajna adi done, and the ahuti when it is given, there is a share that every yajna, there is a share which goes to various gods. So there is a share which goes to Indraya swaha, idanna mama, Varunaya swaha, idanna mama. There are different gods that they give you offer these ahutis. So he made it a rule now that no Indra, no Varuna, no other god. Hiranyakashipaye swaha idanna mama, this is how you should do it. Everything should come to me. And if there were people who were singing about Hari, Vishnu and these bhajans, so wherever there was Hari, Vishnu and these names, he replaced it with Hiranyakashipu. So if it was like a bhajan, like Bhajamana Ram Ram, he said Bhajamana Hiranyakashipu. He changed the entire lyrics because he was the only Ekarat, Swatantra. And then he was also intoxicated. Intoxicated with what? Not this fame, not this power, but as though it was not sufficient. He would be constantly drunk, Madhirapan. Tamangam mattam madhurano urugandhina. A very stinking, pungent smell liquor that he would be drinking and constantly be in that influence. So he also was DUI. Doing under influence. Not driving, but doing under influence. Now when somebody's buddhi is so bhrashta and filled with that intoxication, now the decisions cannot be a balanced decisions. Now Sapta Dvipavati Mahi, this entire Dvipavati, Sapta Dvipavati Mahi. Now this must have been written way before even Ramji. We are talking about the Krita Yuga, Satya Yuga. In that Satya Yuga, what is the description of the earth given? Saptadvipavati Mahi. Mahi, this earth was 7 continents. Now this I am just giving for you as a food for thought. When maybe it was all discovered even before Columbus. And there have been 7, and the concept of the plates, that brings in a lot of contradiction. So that is a food for thought. Now go and think. Now this Saptadvipavati Mahi was so scared of this Hiranyakashipu that without Kamadhughadhyaustu, without being plowed, without sowing seeds, she would start producing anna. Without anybody putting effort, there would be anna. All that you have to do is go and gather that anna. So maybe it was the best time for the people. They never had famine. The rain gods would come and say, okay, this part seems to be a little dry. Can I go shower there? You have my permission to do so. And there is another thing, Nanascharya padam navaha. If he had wanted something, he just had to think about it and look into the sky, and that thing would fall from the sky for him. See, earlier, we had to go to the shops, go and round, collect everything, and then stand in the line, check out and pay for it and come. Now we just have to look into the screen and say, click, and it is delivered down to your house. Far better than that system is this Hiranyakashipu system, wherein you just have to think of the thing and then you see it, visualize it, and it comes down from there. People had to just come request, we want this. He would think of them and that would fall there. As long as you worshipped him, as long as you sang praises to him and not worshipped Vishnu, he was happy. He would give you anything that you would ask. But then, people were not satisfied with that kind of life too. They had gone, asking for things, but then how long would you be under the tyranny of somebody? And they had gotten disgusted with this person. So what did they all do? All these devas, as the leading factor, they started worshipping. Tasyai namostu kasthayai yatratma haririshvaraha yadgatva nanivartante shanta sannyasino amalaha. They started worshipping that Sri Hari Vishnu. And when the intensity of these people's prayers really boiled, then in the Antar, Akashavani, there came a message. From the Akasha, there was the Vani, there is the message. Ma bhaishta vibhuda shreshtaha sarvesham bhadramastuvaha maddarshanam hi bhutanam sarvashreyo vapattaye. And he says, Tasya shantim karishyami kalam tavat pratikshata. Kalam tavat pratikshata. Just wait for some more time. His bad deeds are coming to a paka. Like they say in Hindi, right? Uska ghada bar raha hai. And when it is full, it is almost there. Just wait for few more, a couple of days or time. Tavat pratiksheta. Just wait and pay attention. He says, the Lord says here in the Akashvani, Yada deveshu vedeshu goshu vipreshu sadhushu dharme mayi cha vidveshaha sava ashu vinashyati. Ashu is age. Vinashyati is destroyed. Of those persons, yada, who insults or who does harm to deveshu, gods, vedeshu, scriptures, goshu, the cattle, especially here the cows. Yeah, that is why we alone can say, the Hindus alone can claim holy cow, because it is really holy. Goshu, vipreshu, pandita varga, those who are really erudite scholars in their own fields. Sadhushu, those who are sadhu, those who are of pious nature. Dharme mayi cha, in the dharma and in me, those who have deep hatred, such people are incurring a lot of sin. And Hiranyakashipu has made sure that he has covered all his bases. So his papa is now ripening, and I'll be there to relieve you all. I am just waiting for Hiranyakashipu to touch or to insult his son. Narada Uvacha. Ityukta loka guruna tam pranamya divaukasaha nyavartante gatodvegaha menire chasuram hatam. Now they were happy to hear this message. It was as if they had, Hiranyakashipu had already been killed. That was a kind of relief that these devas and these rishis felt. Now, let us talk about Prahlada. How was Prahlada? Tasya daityapatehe putraha. This Hiranyakashipu had Chatvara Parama Adbhutaha, 4 great sons, of whom Prahlada was the youngest one. But in the gunas, he was the greatest one, greatest of these 4. How was he? Brahmanya Shila Sampannaha Satya Sandho Jitendriyaha Atmavat Sarva Bhutanam Ekah Priya Suhrittamaha. Now if we want to be as Prahlada, what is it that Prahlada did? And all that we have to do is change our vision and be like Prahlada. So what did he do? Brahmanyaha Shila Sampannaha Satya Sandho Jitendriyaha. He was Satyavak Paripalana. Satya Sandha, truthful to the core. Jitendriyaha, his organs of perception and action were under his absolute control. And all the Brahmanyaha, all the Vipraha, all the learned erudite scholars, he would be Shila Sampanna, he would be so humble, so generous to these learned people. Atmavat Sarva Bhutanam Ekaha Priya Suhrittamaha. He would feel one with this entire universe. Anybody that he would see with any pain, he would feel as though that pain is within him, and he would go serve that person. That gentle-hearted he was. In the 33rd sloka, there is a beautiful sentence that it says, Asuraha Rahita Asuraha. Though born in the Asura family, there was no Asuratva in his heart because of these tendencies that he had evolved with, he had developed in. So with all these beautiful qualities wherein he would always be as service to anybody who is older than him. And those who are poor, he would be like a father trying to reach out and help them. And those who are of his own age, he would always be with them, he would always be in a loving spirit. And those who were of the Guru, though what they were teaching he did not feel comfortable with, but still he would treat them as his own Ishtadaiva. That was the greatness of this Prahlada. Now he had Vidya, he had Dhana, he had Saundarya, he had every good quality that you could think about, but not an ounce of arrogant nature in his personality. He was not at all arrogant about he having all these beautiful qualities within him. That goes on to prove Vidya Vinayena Shobhate. The more and more we learn, I think it is our Kabir Das ji who compares it to the tree full of fruits. When the tree is full of fruits, it doesn't stand tall, it bends down, offering the fruit to anybody who is ready to partake that fruit. Similarly, Vidya, those who have this Vidya, they don't stand arrogant. They bend down in humility. And you could find that humility in Prahlada. Now when you find that Prahlada has such beautiful qualities, why would anybody have enmity with this kind of person? Can we ask later? The flow will. When somebody has such beautiful qualities, how is it possible that you can hate such a kid? Those who are supposed to be the greatness of Prahlada is that he is born in an Asura family. The Devas are the ones who are troubled normally by these Asuras. But Prahlad's fame is such great that any devotee of the Lord is often compared that your devotion is as great as Prahlada's. Such great devotion this Prahlada had for the Lord. Now when somebody has such kind of great devotion, now Yudhishthira is bothered. Now Yudhishthira is bothered because how can a father torture or trouble his own son who is so pious? How could you even think about doing harm to your own child? What happened in between these Prahlada and Hiranyakashipu that Hiranyakashipu turned out to be such cruel towards his own child? Normally they should not be having any kind of wrong intentions towards their own child. So now Naradji says in the 5th chapter, Prahlada, as he was growing, father was really happy with his sons, but he made sure that if you allow the gurus to come into your courtyard and teach these kids will never value knowledge. Vidya is never valued. Now some of the streaks that you find in Hiranyakashipu are surprising. He values Vidya, and he is of the firm opinion that if the teacher himself comes into the courtyard where these kids are growing, they will never value Vidya. So what did he do? Outside the Rajabhavana there was a little forest. In that little patch of forest there was an ashram built, And the two sons of Shukracharya, Shanda and Amarka, they are the two sons who were named the principal teachers there, and all these asuras were sent to that Gurukula, Daitya Gurukula. Vidya must be given in a proper way, not in the luxury of home. So he sent them to Gurukula. The Gurukula was not far away, it was just outside the palace in a small patch of forest. Now when these kids were sent there, sometimes the kids would come home. Ekada, once when the kids were home, whenever they have this long weekend, probably Prahlad also had a long weekend. Along with his brothers, he came back to his palace, and looking at Prahlada, Hiranyakashipu really felt a deep love for this kid. So what did he do? Ekada surarat putramankam aropya. He picked him and put him on his lap. Praprachakatyatam vatsa manyate sadhu yadbhavan. He said, hey Vatsa, beta, tell me, as you are growing up, what are the things that you are tending to like? Typically the same kind of question that we also ask kids. What do you want to grow up to be? Whichever or whatever is the influence on that kid at that time, the kid blurts out. If he's seen a movie which has a lot of singing, he says, I want to be a singer. If it has a lot of cops in it, he says, I want to be a cop. It depends on what is the influence on that kid. So he wanted to know about this kid, Prahlada. What is it that influences him? What do you want to become? So Prahlada says, this answer coming out of a 5-6-year-old, it can throw off any parent. Not because the parents are like Hiranyakashipu, just because of the answer's depth that Prahlada stands with. Prahlada Uvacha. He says, Tat sadhu manyehe, that is called sadhu, which is not limited. Imagine a 5-6-year-old giving this kind of a statement. It just throws you off. That which is limiting is never sadhu, is never good. The best is when it is unlimiting. And then when you are in that unlimiting thing, you are never into a comparative analysis. That this is mine, this is not mine, this is yours, this is not mine. And these kinds of comparisons are not there. Everything is that supreme. Hitva atmapatam grihamandhakupam. Not understanding this unlimited supreme, we are as though trained and tutored to run around griha andhakupam. Grow up, earn lot of money, have your family, have your kids, have your home, have lot of luxury. Andhakupam, you are running behind your grihastha, but not focusing on that which is supporting this entire universe. And this seems to be, wrong. I feel like that is sadhutva, which is unlimited, and leave all this which limits me. Go to vanam gataha, yat harim ashrayet, so that I can surrender completely to that Hari, that Lord. Now Hiranyakashipu is hearing for the first time that Mayavi, Vishnu, who killed his brother, and his anger is not yet gone. And his own son is like, wants to give up everything, though he is still a small kid. He wants to give up everything and surrender to that Hari. Why did I get all this kind of kingdom? I'm the only available boss of this universe. And he is like worshipping my enemy. And he was hearing it for the first time. So what did Kamsa do? Shrutva putra giro daityaha. The moment he heard it, he started laughing loud. It might be because of his arrogance, it could be because, he thought his son was kidding with him. But then suddenly it dawned on him that it was this Vishnu Hari that his son was trying to dedicate his life to. Vishnu Pakshaihi Pratichannaihi. He is going to go to Vishnu Paksha? This is not right. So he called this Daitya Guru, Shanda and Amarka, who were the Shukracharya's putras. He says, is your brains all right? Is this what I have appointed you to teach my kids? Not just that you are not teaching that I am the sole worshipped one in this universe. He talks of Hari, Vishnu. How could you teach such kind of things? I know. And then he turns to his own son. He says, hey son, go learn the right stuff from these teachers. Now these teachers run, taking this kid with them. So they are scared that it is the king. So they take this kid up aside and say, those of us who are in the service of anybody who pays us back, we become almost like slaves, though we are erudite, though we are scholarly, though we are pandita. The moment there is a relation tied down to money transaction, we almost become like slaves, and we do not have the capacity to speak the truth as truth is. So don't torture us by this, things that we have never taught you, by exposing that in front of your father. We are in a very precarious condition. We cannot talk to your father. We don't know who taught you this. And they end up saying, "Hamare papi pet pe laat mat maro." We have been employed by your father and he is paying us well. Don't ruin our career. When your father asks, we are going to teach you what to tell him. See what a pathetic condition that the guru is now has to request the students to learn a certain pattern of answers which may not be the truth, which may not be the right.